Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we untangle the financial knots of big business. Today we're looking at Blue Star Foods Corp, and let me tell you, they've been busy making some big changes under the hood. Ever wonder what happens when a company decides to ramp up its potential for growth by printing more shares? Well, today we're diving into a filing that shows exactly that. It's not quite a financial report, but it tells a really interesting story about the company's future plans. Stick around to see what it means for investors. And hey, before we get too deep, if you like getting these kinds of clear, no-nonsense explanations of what companies are actually doing, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We have a fantastic community over on Discord. Join us there for more discussions and insights. The link is in the description below. Alright, so what we have here is what is called a Form 8. Think of it as a company's way of telling the public about really important things that happen outside of their regular financial reports. It is like a special alert. This particular report is dated the 21st of November, 2025, and the company we're looking at is Blue Star Foods Corp. Now, this filing doesn't give us a list of how much money they made or lost, which is what you often find in big financial reports. Instead, it is all about rule changes within the company, specifically how many shares of stock they are allowed to have. This company is incorporated in Delaware, which is a common place for businesses to set up shop because of its corporate-friendly laws. The really important part of this filing is what happened on the 13th of November, 2025. This section tells us about changes to the official company documents, and that is exactly what happened here. Blue Star Foods Corp filed a certificate of amendment to its amended and restated certificate of incorporation. What does that mean in plain English? It means they officially changed the rules about their own stock. Both the company's leaders, their board of directors, and the people who own the company, the stockholders, agreed to this change. They decided to increase the total number of shares the company is allowed to have. Before this change, they had a certain number of shares. Now, they've dramatically increased the number of common shares they can issue, up to a whopping 500 million shares. Common stock is the regular type of stock that most people buy and sell. The par value of $0.0001 is a very, very small amount, essentially a legal formality. They also increased the number of preferred shares up to 5 million. Preferred stock is a bit different. It usually has certain advantages over common stock, like maybe getting dividends before common stockholders, or having a say in certain company decisions. So, altogether, after this amendment, the company now has the legal power to issue a grand total of 505 million shares. Now, why would a company do this? There are a few main reasons. One is to prepare for future growth. If they plan to expand, maybe buy other companies, or launch new products, they might need more shares to fund these initiatives. They could sell these new shares to investors to raise money, or they might use them to pay for acquisitions. Another reason could be to give themselves flexibility. Having more authorized shares means they don't have to go through this big amendment process every time they need a relatively small number of new shares. It's like having a larger toolbox ready. However, it is also important to understand what this doesn't mean. This filing isn't saying they have issued all these shares. It just means they can. The number of shares actually owned by investors, what is called outstanding shares, is still a different number, but increasing the authorized amount can definitely signal a company's intent to raise capital or expand in the future. We can also see what kind of securities are registered on exchanges. Their common stock, with that tiny par value we talked about, is traded under the symbol BSFC, and it is traded on the OTCQB market. This is an over-the-counter market, typically for smaller companies. This part of the filing lists the actual documents that are part of this report. The main exhibit here is the actual certificate of amendment itself, dated the 13th of November 2025, which is the key document establishing these new share limits. And then there is the interactive data file, which helps make all this information machine readable for filings and analysis. Finally, this document is signed off by John Keeler, the Chief Executive Officer, confirming that the company has indeed made these official changes. So, what does this all mean for Blue Star Foods Corp by increasing their authorized shares so dramatically? They are signaling a clear intention to be able to raise substantial capital, or perhaps engage in significant business transactions in the future. This could mean mergers and acquisitions, new product launches requiring big investments, or simply a way to have more readily available equity to fund operations and growth. For investors, this is a signal to watch closely. It could be a precursor to big moves, which can be opportunities, but also carry risks. It's less about immediate financial performance and more about setting the stage for future potential. It definitely makes them a company to keep an eye on as they potentially leverage this increased capacity for growth. Alright, that is our breakdown of this important Blue Star Foods Corp filing. What is your take on this move to increase authorized shares? Do you see it as a positive sign for future growth or something to be cautious about? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps us out, and subscribe for more deep dives into corporate filings. Don't forget to check out the Discord community in the description for even more insights and discussions. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.